What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode here on CNR TV. I'm Kurt.
I'm Josh.
And today we're covering episode 5 of Loki. What'd you think of this one, man?
It was awesome. And the story was good, but there were so many Easter eggs.
Holy
wait
crap.
to get into it.
I know, man. I made a bunch of notes about all those Easter eggs.
Me too.
Well, as everybody knows who's been here, is that we start off with a recap. So we're going to fire that off right now, and then y'all join us back here so we can discuss our findings.
Let's do it.
The 5th episode of Loki, titled Journey into Mystery, does a decent job of keeping up the pace set by last week's final revelations. Episode 5 opens on a spinning shot of a TVA hallway, a clever visual indicator that the organization's world has been turned upside down by the thrilling conclusion to last week's events. From here on, the show pleasingly wastes no time in revealing exactly what happens when one gets pruned. We find out that all pruning victims are transported to an apocalyptic dumping ground. This means that Loki is able to meet several more inventive variants of himself. The chapter's one and only real fight scene makes great use of these variants, acting as a fun moment to showcase trickster abilities. A brief appearance from presidential Loki is brought to an amusing end via his best Captain Hook impression, with his hand bitten off by Alligator Loki. All of these variants may be different from one another, but this scene quickly demonstrates that if there's anything we know, it's that you can't trust a Loki. While some episodes of Loki have taken their time to move the plot along, thankfully the same can't be said here. We quickly learn that the Void is a place at the end of time where nothing ever returns. Here, Alliath, a giant smoky Godzilla-like tempest, roams its skies, preying on all who have been pruned. Now, a new course of action is needed then, and it isn't solely down to Loki's way of thinking, as Sylvie has a plan of her own. Now, that's not to say there isn't still time for things to slow down, though, even amongst the chaos that reigns at the end of time. The standout scene in this episode is quite literally the calm before the storm, as Loki and Sylvie nervously chat away like two awkward teenagers discovering romantic feelings for the first time. Now, let's talk character bonds. It's a huge relief to see Owen Wilson return, as well as providing a second opportunity for him to supply some of his trademark dry humor. It also grants Loki and Mobius the opportunity to say the proper goodbye that appeared to be robbed from us last week. It's with Sylvie then that Loki must work with to bring an end to this story, armed with the theory that Alliath is guarding whoever is truly behind the TVA. The duo combine their power to enchant the Gatekeeper. It's a visually impressive ending that peaks with the apparition of Asgard via classic Loki. As the dust settles and the smoke clears, we're still left with the big question of who is behind all of this. The episode may move along with pace, but we're still not a whole lot closer to a conclusion. Sure, there have been some touching character moments and development along the way, but there still feels like there's a lot left to do in next week's finale. With theories flying around the internet as to who the big bad may be, Loki is walking the same thin line that WandaVision did before a finale that left many viewers cold. Here's hoping Loki manages to end on a stronger note and deliver an ending as thrilling as the mystery weaved throughout deserves.
So that was a good episode.
With that being said, my man, let's just jump right into this.
Let's do it.
So this,
let's get your overall thoughts real quick.
Well, my overall thoughts was that this one slowed down. I would say about half speed from the previous one.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of important. I mean, this thing was loaded with Easter eggs, like you said before.
An unbelievable amount. Yeah.
And just you could make a whole show just covering that aspect of what happened in this one. When the presidential Loki showed up, I'm asking you this because I'm not completely sure. Were all of those Loki variants? Everybody in his army?
I think so. And I think that because a few of them were seen earlier in the show. If you remember, it was episode 1 or 2. They had the little holographic images of the Lokis.
Right.
And some of those were actually in that crowd.
Okay. I just saw the one guy that had the Loki horns were bicycle helmets or bicycle handlebars.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Very creative ones.
I did take quite a few notes on the Easter eggs, but I understand that you also have some notes.
I do.
So
yeah.
Let's just do a back and forth here. So you go ahead and fire off.
All right. The first one I noticed, the Avengers Tower has the word Kang written on it.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, well, it's Qeng, which is Kang. And in the comics, that's a corporation that is run by Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
So it's kind of on the nose. But that kind of makes me, I'll get into this later, but kind of makes me think it won't be Kang because it's so obvious.
Well, did you notice my first one is going to be the Thanos copter?
Yes, that's fantastic.
So I, of course, went back and looked this up. And this was actually, there in the comic books, Thanos flew around on this little helicopter.
Yeah, when Thanos was completely ridiculous.
Yeah, could you imagine the Thanos of what we're, the modern day is used to?
Yeah, insert the face palm emoji.
Yeah, he would have been hanging out of both sides of that little helicopter.
And it has his name on it. I mean, it's like the Bat plane or something, but it's Thanos copter.
What's next on your list?
The helmet from Yellow Jacket from the Ant-Man movie.
That's in my notes as well.
It was giant, which makes me wonder. The end of that movie gets sucked into the quantum realm. I wonder if that's connected to this end of time. Like if you shrink far enough in the quantum realm, do you end up there? I don't know.
Well, and I did notice that when they were showing that scene at the end of where they've, defeated Goliath,
yeah.
Yeah. And it opens up, and they're showing the castle in the background and some spaceships flying off to the right.
Yeah, you saw that too, right?
Yes, I saw it. And I went back and watched it over again. And I was like, Marvel doesn't do anything by accident. Everything that we just saw, there's a reason for it. But what I did notice was like in the background behind the castle, that energy field is the same one that it looks like is surrounding that city in the quantum realm.
Yes, I wondered the same thing. Speaking of giant entities, though, there's a statue of the Living Tribunal.
I did see that.
Huge Marvel character. He's like the ultimate be-all, end-all judge of the universe.
And he's like one of the top 5 most powerful Marvel entities.
Yeah, and we've actually heard reference to him in Doctor Strange. Mordo has the staff of the Living Tribunal, I think is what he calls it. So there's just a little name drop there. But that was cool to see him because it's like one of the big characters.
What you got next?
There was a helicarrier crashed with the Hydra logo on it.
Yes.
That was it.
There was also the ship from
Guardians
of the Galaxy.
Yes, Ronan the Accuser's Dark Aster, I believe it was called. Right.
So they're throwing those things in left and right.
Yeah. The Sphinx. You see that briefly.
And
which again.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that ties into Kang also.
Because that's his ship, is it not? It's a ship that he flew to Egypt when he became
that's right.
The Pharaoh.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Tomorrow, we get Black Widow.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Eternals. And then Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man.
And
then Doctor Strange. What if?
What If got a trailer today. It comes out August 11th.
Oh, I'm excited about that. That one should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think that they go into here and there's a big epic battle. There's going to be some flashbacks to the TVA where Mobius is bringing it all down.
I hope so.
Freeing all those poor TVA people that have been pulled out of their own timelines.
Yeah.
And it's gonna flash back and forth between that situation. He's gonna free B-15. C-20 is somewhere.
Well, she pruned, so yeah, maybe Eliath killed her. I don't know.
Maybe. Mobius went back to deal with that. That was his purpose, to go back and bring the TVA down.
Yeah.
And then Loki and Sylvie are gonna fight to the death, potentially against whoever is pulling the strings.
Who do you think that is?
Kang, 100%.
You think we'll see him and they'll stop him?
Now, he might have, he's obviously used props and animatronics to do his deeds, if this is Kang.
Right.
So there's a chance like who they initially encounter isn't really him. It's somebody else. I guess it could be a Loki variant that he's manipulated into working for him. They could roll up in there and there's Rainslayer. I don't know. Honestly, if she really knows what's going down,
could be,
she goes there to warn Kang that they're coming, but it's probably nothing we said is going to happen. And
right, it could be Miss Minutes is real and she's the one behind everything.
I had heard a theory on that Miss Minutes is really running everything.
Right.
It's kind of like the AI from Captain America.
Yeah.
What was his name? That doctor.
Gola.
Yeah.
So,
she could be Kang's AI that's kind of running this whole TVA.
It could be, yeah.
All right. Well, you got any more thoughts or anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I think we covered the major bits. Alligator Loki's new name is Croaky, by the way.
Croaky. For Crocodile Loki?
Yeah.
Loki, sorry. Well, I wonder if they're going to start selling the Loki plush alligator, the alligator Loki plush toy.
Maybe with a hand in his mouth.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you coming by. I hope you got something out of this.
Yes.
We are very, very close to finishing up this season. We'll be here. We'll be back here again next week to cover the final episode. And we're going to dig deep into just recapping the whole season. We may do an additional episode. What do you think of that? Just recapping the whole season. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If
you guys found any Easter eggs we missed, make sure to leave them in the comments section.
Yeah, I bet y'all didn't find any. Reverse psychology.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just leave the comments down below and tell us what else you would like to see us cover. We will be definitely covering Black Widow.
Absolutely.
It's going to be my first time in the theater since all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
So we will have that up probably next week.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you coming by, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.
See ya.